Good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI tournament, which will be the last broadcast for the 2017 finals, which always drag on a bit in the next year. This time it's 2018, which is no surprise. We have got for you the first finalist, Killabot, which took down Microwave 3-0, Cherry Pie 3-0, and then Xim 3-2 and Leaderbot 2-0. And that was quite a feat, but first we'll be starting with McRave versus Cherry Pie. And then whoever wins that is going to fight Microwave, which came from here. So let's start the first game, because it's quite a nice string of games. And first of all, I'd really auto-activate the overlay, because that way you can see how to contact me to recommend good games. Regular broadcasts will be starting next week, where we'll discuss what's happened and show you the best games of the week. And also we've got this sponsoring option through Patreon, and I'd like to start the broadcast first with thanking those who already sponsor us, namely Alexander Seidel, BitcoinForks.io, Björn Lindberg, David Hansen, Gabriel Senev, Matthew Pityak, Michael Sester, Newbie Edge and Rossum.ai. And full disclosure, the money of course isn't going to jet skiing or expensive penthouses in the Republic of Abu Dhabi, or Republic of the Caliphate, I think it is, I don't know. But it's really going towards hardware, hosting and maintenance, because we've been running this tournament for... we started in 2011, so this is the 7th installment. And the hardware is really getting old. And this tournament hasn't... well, it has been running on the goodwill of the organization, and well, in this day and age we'd really like to upgrade the server, because it's showing a bit of problems and it's not really all that interesting. So those who sponsor us, thank you for making it all work into the new year. And that said, what will we have here? The scouting probe has found the Zerg base, but the first Zergans are on the way already, and there is a 2-gate on McRave's end of things, so I'd say that McRave's in an okay position to hold off the first attack. And the first Zealot is going to encounter the first 5 Zergans, and it's immediately going back, but 2 more are out on the map already. First Zealot lost some shields, 1 Zergling dies, and 2 more get badly damaged, so for the time being Cherry Pie... oh, that's another hatchery, that's quite ballsy already, has got the Sunken ready, and another one soon too. So McRave, with a very dedicated early pressure build and the shield battery in its mineral line for reasons I don't know, is going on the march with these Zealots, and I think that as soon as these Zealots will come anywhere near this Sunken, the other one is going to morph as well. Yep, there we go. Next hatchery is soon to be done. And Cherry Pie's got quite a number of workers, so should be in an okay position, especially since McRave isn't really following this up with some more units, just 4 Zealots for some early pressure, forcing 3 Sunkens out of Cherry Pie. That's quite a lot. But Cherry Pie's got 15 workers, which is quite a bit for a Zerg at this stage of the game, so should be in an okay position, and Goon range is starting for McRave. And I will try to limit these production, army upgrades and spell tabs for the time being, because I think it really distracts from what's happening in the game. Of course, I don't have this unit portrait over here where I would be able to show how many kills these bots have, these units have got, or what upgrades. So occasionally I will have to take a peek at the upgrade screen, because I can't really smell what's under these units, what kind of upgrades or abilities they've got. And these 3 Sunkens are pretty much worthless. Question though is, what is McRave going to do? Lots and lots of money in the bank, and it seems like there is 1 more Zealot and 2 Goons have arrived already, and I didn't spot those. Cherry Pie could sneak a worker out, instead is taking its time to build some stuff, hasn't got a lair yet, and it's fiddling around. McRave appears to be looking for a break, but with these Zergling numbers and 3 Sunkens, I think that Cherry Pie can hold off quite a bit of damage. That's the Hydra Den, and without a lair I doubt we are going to see many lurkers. McRave though is going for pylons and units, and I think that once range is finished and this Army has reached sort of critical mass. It's going for a poke. Army for Cherry Pie is growing a little bit, and now it's moving out. A couple of Zerglings coming to grips with these Zealots and Goons, and Mechrave will have to make its way across the bridges with some decent micro. That was what I wanted to say. Cherry Pie, though, has really started some mutas, and let me see, upgrades, yep. Link speed and muta speed versus Goon range. And I think with 2 bases versus 1, yeah, that's the first Zealot lost for nothing. But some scouting information, that's always a good idea. And Mechrave might just as well build a Nexus here, a natural. And this is money wasted. And I really doubt that you are going to get away with a 1-base play versus Cherry Pie, but you'll never know. Never underestimate Mechrave. And Cherry Pie is, well, sort of sneaking in a couple of drones every now and then. And not really building a lair. Mechrave is doing the same, so both players are correctly evaluating that the other has got, well, it's basically committed to keep up with his army. And Cherry Pie isn't really into contact with this army, so either it guesses what's going on or it has learned from previous experience what Mechrave is going to do. That's hard to say at this point, because its thoughts, of course, are not really captured in any kind of overlay viewy thing I've got. And this drone is moving out, breakdancing a little bit, luring some Zealots. And another Zealot dies for no good reason, so that dangling a drone in front of your sunken line might actually be a valid tactic of sorry, of getting some free kills. And this one is dead. Sorry. If you hear me coughing and sneezing, that may be that's not your ears deceiving you. That is because I have got the cold, and it's very cold in Holland at the moment, so I could be excused for that, but it's certainly no boon in having to cast a game. And Cherry Pie throwing a couple of drones away, that's rather uncharacteristic. And it could rather take an expansion here, or I don't know what these drones are going to do, but oh, they nearly baited a Goon into coming and attacking. And Mechrave still hasn't got an expansion, is going for some High Templars. I think that's a good decision. Will it have the upgrade as well? Yep, Storm is brewing. And then, but it's losing so many hit points to these Sunkens. Then again, I think it's a good trade-off versus these drones which are being tangled in front of the cannons. The army for Cherry Pie is going to be quite big, so that's okay. And now Mechrave has sort of crossed the bridges, is half-heartedly engaging the enemy, but the enemy doesn't really dare attack either. Is Storm done? Yes, Storm is done. Where are the Templar? I haven't got a clue. Oh, here's one. And will there be another? No, because 1-base gateway play with Templars is quite expensive and you can't really afford too many Templar. I'm going to speed it up just a tiny little notch because, ooh, Mechrave now losing quite a lot. And the Templar coming into play but not really storming on point. And Mechrave with double the army supply is beating the retreat. The unit's getting stuck on the bridges. And this one Templar can't really do too much about it. We've got another one, so we'll have to too soon, but with only 2 Goons and a lot of Zealots, this Hydra thing, oh, the Hydras now get stuck by the drones are blocking the Hydras, and the Zealots are carving everything to shreds. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, that's not good by Cherry Pie. What are these stupid drones trying to accomplish? That is not good at all. There is quite a number of Hydras in there still, and the Zealots really should know better than to try and come to grips with that. Natural started for Protoss finally. We've got 2 High Templar. And I'd be a lot happier if there were some more supporting units, because if these Goons die, these Hydras would have free range. And of course, what are these stupid drones trying to do? It's really beyond me. The drone saturation isn't that good here anyway. And now with 2 Templar, so I think that if Mechrave gets his natural up, it will be in a good position, because, well, the main of Cherry Pie, there is no microwave yet. The winner of this game will be playing microwave. Oh, and that Storm is really on point, because these drones again stick their foot in for Zerg. And there is another. Oh, and it only catches one drone. That's a bit of a miss. But it will certainly keep Cherry Pie on its toe, because if it doesn't really dodge those storms and it can't get over the bridges rather well, if you can't really move too quickly over there. And these goons, though, are pretty stupid. So, that said, these bridges are quite an interesting feature on this map. And I think that it's, well, getting from A to B is one, but getting across bridges and ramps is definitely Pathfinding 2.0. And with one more Templar, I think this Protoss army is getting out of control. McRave should just be careful not to waste too many goons, and it could just be sitting back here and let the enemy funnel through the bridges. Where are the Templar? We've got 4 now, the Natural's up. And McRave appears to be in a pretty good position, but it's taking a fight and it's not going well. Where are the Storms? The Storms, oh, the Templar are too far in the rear, and at this point, if yes, that's a good, whoa! And Cherry Pie, oh, and this one is semi-dodged, but oh, that was a pretty good storm by McRave. Ha! And Cherry Pie is now licking its wounds among the Sunkens. Meanwhile, its Natural's getting low, its main is getting low-ish. It can do this for quite some time, but it's not getting any more upgrades or any more tech, and it's really foregoing the easy expansion to the right. I do fear that these drones are trying to do something stupid on the left. And meanwhile, McRave, because it isn't contained, has no such qualms. It's just taking the natural expansion, which comes natural anyway, and would soon be in a position to take a third, because its main's getting pretty depleted, and as usual, because the Protoss have got a higher worker count, and has been all on the main, so that's logic. And these drones are really, either they're trying to bait a couple of goons, but the Templar count by this time is 5, and they've got quite a lot of storms between them. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish. Somewhere between 8 and 10 storms already, and that's quite enough to be going on with. The thing keeping Cherry Pie in the game is this sunken line, and of course the situation at the bridges. Cherry Pie could well do with a lurker. It's got a lot of money, but it isn't building any more hatches or lings or sunkens. And that would be a nice touch if you could just build a couple of sunkens here. You could protect this end of the bridges as well, or build some more sunkens, or take a hatch. But that way Cherry Pie isn't really wired, and McRave is taking a third base, so we'll be able to put out a lot of units soon. Will it go for some upgrades as well? Has it even got a forge? Doesn't look like it. It's just going to be about units. And these Templar are nearly full. We've got 6 Templar. 1 is full already. That's... oh no, that's just 2 storms, because they haven't got the energy upgrade yet. No, they haven't. And although Protoss is losing an atrocious amount of units at this choke, I think that as soon as these Templar are coming into play, the Zerg will have a hard way of it. And here come the Templar again. Let's look at this. The first storm softens the front. The second storm softens the front some more. Oh, and this one is spot on, and all the Hydras die. Oh god. Cherry Pie is suffering deeply. And the next Templar really can't get through to the bridges, and the pathfinding isn't really... oh, and this one, oh, it's okay, but... between the storms in the front and the occasional one that's spot on, these Hydras don't stand much of a chance. And Cherry Pie has got so many Templar, and they are just idling in the back. It would be nice to have a couple of Mutas flying around to try and deal with that. Cherry Pie still's got a lot of money, but by its being intent on taking this base, or at least I think, because I can't really read the minds of these drones, and now Cherry Pie is advancing. The Templar are still in the rear. McRave really losing too many units due to these 2 sunkens, because it wants to kill the drones, and the drones will come anyway, so much better to take a position here and storm the hell out of them on the bridges. But oh well, what can you do? I mean, well, we've got more Templar than we've got Zealots and Goons. That might be a problem. Oh, there, here we go. And now the Templar are coming into play again, and these Hydras. Whoa, this one is really hurting. And although, oh well, that McRave should be careful, because although it's got a 3 versus 2 base situation, The main is out, and it can't really afford to lose all its ground army, because these Templars can't do everything on their own. They need some support. But meanwhile, we've got 46 versus 17 army supply, and I'm going to speed it up just a notch, because it's might be taking forever otherwise. Any cool plans in the bag of Margrave? No, not really. Just pylons, units, harvesting. Main is out, so it's a 2 versus 2 base. And Cherry Pie is sort of breaking out, and where, oh, all the Templar are going into retreat. Oh, that's not good. Hello, Templar, please. Storm, please. Storm on Bridge 1. Storm on Bridge 1. And Cherry Pie with 6 army supply, but can't even break the goons at this point. That's very unfortunate. And for the life of me, I can't imagine what these drones are doing. And I can also not imagine what these stupid Templar are doing. Once they get blasting, they are pretty awesome. Oh, now we've got 2 forges spinning, we've got armor and +1. So I think for now Margrave has got things well under control. The problem though is that these Templar are really expensive, and they are not really put to the best use. One in the mineral line with the shuttle might do wonders as well. No energy upgrade, which might also be good. That said, this is a very small gateway army for Margrave, and I think that if these drones would stop messing about, Cherry Pie would take one good fight over here and then overrun the enemy, it might have a decent chance, or get a third up. And the Templar are keeping way too much distance. But now I think that the Sunkens, yep, the Sunkens will be ranged by the goons. The Sunkens will be broken. And this group of 10 Templar with full energy, not doing anything, that's quite awesome. Then again, the Zerg Naturals overrun, the Extractors going to fall. There is only one, oh, there were a couple of workers left, but their behavior is highly suspect. And Margrave appears to be taking game 1 in style. That's game 1 for you. Let's go into game number 2. And let's see what Cherry Pie is going to do to get the better of Margrave this time, or will Margrave do it again? And if you haven't seen last week's broadcast, close your eyes. Margrave can really play beautifully if the Templars are storming. If they don't, it is a very frustrating sight to see. So the question will be again, will Margrave be able to... oh, I should have said close your ears, right? Sorry for spoiling last game. Oh, last week's games, but hey, can't be perfect. Now, Cherry Pie is going for a large swell of Lings, 2 bases, sunken, so last build is last game, 2 hatches in the main, and Margrave's keeping the Zealots in the mineral line, just suspecting some kind of rushy tactic by Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie, however, is doing a nice fat round of drones, which I think is a good decision, mining some gas. And now with a Goon Force support, have we got range? Range has started, no Zergling speed yet. And now Protoss is going on the warpath again. By now we've got 3 Sunkens, which are a little bit better placed than last game. Should be able to output a lot more damage to the Protoss forces. Then again, we haven't got these obnoxious bridges. And even for human players, bridges are a huge obstacle with the silly Brood War unit pathfinding, the standard pathfinding, so that's still an issue. But of course on this map it hasn't really been problematic yet. Margrave going for the same build, 4 gateways, lots of pylons, lots of workers, well 21 workers actually, that's okay, but it's not really a lot. And now with Zergling speed, these Lings are contesting the rallies of Zealots, but with the Expeditionary Force consisting of only 4 Lings, which will be, well, they have free range back to, and that's 5 Sunkens, that's quite a lot of Sunkens, but now Cherry Pie is going for a lair, which will give it access to Lurkers or Mutas, and with 2 versus 1 bases, I think that Margrave ought to be careful, because last game it sort of looked like Cherry Pie was stuck. Trying to reach a base it couldn't on the left side, and it didn't really work all that well. That was rather unfortunate. Now Margrave, what are you going to do? I think that's going to be a Citadel. Oh no, that's going to be a Templar Archives. We've got the Citadel already. And got a nice concave on the Zerg, and the Zerg's got 5 Sunkens and not taking any chances this game. Going for another hatch, that's quite a number of hatches. And is now keeping its money down a lot better than it did last game. So I applaud it for that. Is that going to be a Spire? Small sneak? Yes, it is. And meanwhile taking a lot of Lings, Overlord speed +1. And Protoss coming in for the kill, but it can't really break all these. That's a lot of Zerglings and backed up by 5 Sunkens. And these goons ought to be wiser than trying to do that. Just wait for a storm, plant 1-2 good storms once these Lings come out. They all melt and you can play with your Sunkens in your own good time. And what's happening now is that the Protoss army is getting its shield worn off because it keeps wading into the range of these Sunkens too much. And that's another hatchery. Will we have Mutas too? No, we'll just have Lings. No natural yet by Protoss, and here comes the first Templar. And from what I saw last game, or last games of McRave, is that once the Templar reach this staging area behind the troops, oh, Cherry Pie now being really ballsy with the Lings, and although there isn't +1 yet, that's a very dedicated attack beyond the range of the Sunkens, and with all these Zealots and Goons, but the Zealots are wavering, they are getting low, and there are just so many Lings. Cherry Pie is really ripping one leg, is ripping the torso out of McRave's army, and the Goons will have to perform some very decent micro, now going for an expansion that may not be the right timing. The Lings have to cover quite a lot of territory, and they are badly damaged as well. Some Zealots are catching up, but the Goons aren't fighting as efficiently. And the Templar hasn't got a storm yet. The storm is done. So I think this evaluation of the Zerg army is okay, that it shouldn't be pursuing this Protoss force too much. But Protoss isn't keeping its stuff together. And here comes the storm! No storm. Oh god, we've not got this bug Templar thing again, because that will be one storm, this will be over. Oh, we've got another one. Oh god, these Templar had better come to their senses soon, because this Gateway army is going to be blown to smithereens, and it's only 2 bases, 1 more hatchery, and another hatchery. This is so many hatcheries, and this drone can't really make it out of there. So Cherry Pie really having some issues with Goons fight storm! Oh hello, no, we're just going to truck over to here and die to some random Zerglings. Oh, this is really too disappointing. Oh well, can't have it all. Poor Templar. Perhaps I think if they will reach this original staging area, they may come to their senses, and this small band of Zealots and Goons is going to push back the Zerg advance on this side. And hopefully if this Templar... No, oh god. Oh, this is so hard to watch. McRave would be in such a good position to be a very dominant force anywhere. If only the storms were working. And now we've got a Muta Zergling train rounding up Gateway units left and right. Army supply-wise, McRave is down half, and it's got 1 Templar, it's got Storm, this hasn't got any cannons, and not even in the main. So now I think Cherry Pie has good odds of equalizing it, and it's so very late with the 3rd, and I think it's really got some pathfinding issues, or determining where a safe zone is, where you can transfer a drone to take another base. And yes, although we have got a handful of Goons trying to out-micro both the Zerglings and the Mutas, that's a tall order, and doesn't appear to be working all that well this game. Now, the Lings are all over the map, which is good, and there is no 3rd yet, which is bad. We've got a Hive coming, which is good, and McRave is in tatters, which means 1-1. And hopefully we'll get the full 5 games out of this match as well, because that would be absolutely awesome. Summarizing. First game, McRave got its Templars to work and won. Second game, the Templars went catatonic and McRave keeled over. I think Cherry Pie is going to be pretty pleased with itself. Don't know if that's really merited. Going for natural first, then pool, then in-base hatchery. A lot of Zerglings, not going for speed too quickly, but that's quite a lot of Lings. And the Zealots of McRaves are going to stand in a mineral line again, and that will mean that Cherry Pie can do a little bit of damage. Oh, that's a pylon for free. It will say thank you for that. And then Cherry Pie will just try and see what it's going to kill next. And this drone is really attractive to all the Zealots. Meanwhile, the Zerglings are in among the workers, are killing a pylon and have taken all the shields off. And the drone with half HP is attacking the Nexus head on. Oh dear, it's nearly dead as well. All the shields have gone. And McRae really seems to be having some small issues which are really playing it big parts with the goons. I think it can at least dispose of this scouting drone, which will be good. Meanwhile, Cherry Pie not taking any chances again, putting up a lot of Sunkens in the natural. And I always like to see that because it just indicates that a bot is serious. You've got, as a Zerg player, to balance army, defense. Oh, well, I say army, but meanwhile we've got 2 army supply in Zerglings, and a large Protoss war train is approaching the sunken field. And there might be 2 hatches all at once in the main base, and the Hydra Den and no army at all. So if this Protoss force would to get the right idea before this 5th Sunken is up, it might do a lot of damage. It ought to go and have a little bit of a peek. The army supply for Zerg is puny. And by now the idea, yeah, the Protoss are coming! No. Oh, no. Nope. Nope. Protoss army still growing, Zerg army still 2. I don't know why. What's Zerg spending all its money on? On a lot of Zerglings. So that army is going to grow pretty quickly, especially since we've got a lot of hatcheries in the main, and that's a really unusual build. And although the Facebook deep learning team is headed by Gabriel Senave and Dan Gant is on there, if I see this many hatches and Zerglings, I can only suspect that the driving force behind it. And now the Protoss is trying to sacrifice some units. I've got this deep brown suspicion that this Zergling play is at the hands of no one else than TSCMU. TSCMU Zerg has got a thing for Lings as well. And this is quite a lot of Lings, actually. So Protoss can't really get too much done. The Lings, Protoss would really be wise to if you see this many Lings, I'd build a forge and get +1 just for laughs. But now Protoss is under pressure because it can't break these 5 Sunkens and deal with the Lings. Hell, dealing alone with these Lings alone would be quite a feat. But for the time being seems to be working, and we've got the Templar. And in the first game, the Templars did reach... Oh god! No! In the first game, the Templar reached a sort of staging area where they were happily splashing about, gathering energy, and then they'd support the troops with a storm or 2 every once in a while. In the second game, the Templars never did reach that staging area, and they were so incredibly stupid they just died to random Zerglings, and this Templar sort of beats it all, just ran into some Sunkens for God knows why. McRae now starting an expansion, but it's being hunted by this swell of Zerglings, which have got speed +1 and +1 armor starting as well. The question is, oh poor goon. Oh, we've got a Templar. Storm! Oh no, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to die. Bother these other stupid gateway units. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not good at all. And the Zerglings. The Zerglings. Look at how many Zerglings you can make. How many larvae has Protoss got? It's got 6, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hatches in the main, and the 6 over here. And this one can't really get past this neutral mineral thing, but it doesn't really matter over here. Oh god. It's so hard to watch. Versus this many Zerglings, 1 or 2 good storms would have been all it took to just dismantle the whole lot of it and send them back to blood puddles where they were originating from in the Zerg base. But Cherry Pie about to make this 2-1, unless an invulnerable Archon comes about with a splash area of the size of half the screen. And even that might not be able to save it now, because these Zerglings have just got way too much DPS. And Cherry Pie again not getting a third base, but it's going to be 2-1 for our friendly neighborhood Zerg. And that is the game. So, fourth game, Grave 1, Cherry Pie 2. It's a large map, a large-ish map. And I can only hope that the Templar 4 McRave will be operational, because he appears to be banking on them so hard, doing the same build order every time with a very late expansion, Templar of 1 base, and Cherry Pie doing the same again. Expansion first, then a pool, and let me see, yep, another hatchery in the main. And there we go, the Lings are on the warpath, the Zealots are in the mineral line, and all is well with the world. How will this game pan out? We are the core just finished, so we'll have the potential for goons. First sunken out already, and this game is going to be a repeat, and now the Zealots are in a much better mood to fight off the first harassing Zerglings. This probe's pretty brave though. And I feel that the Zealots should wait for the first goons, because although you can sort of... Oh well, this is good, nabbing a couple of Zerglings without losing too much of your own. You never know how many Zerglings are out in the field, and if they've got speed, it might get very messy. And now with a goon and 1 Zealot stuck here, I think you're okay. Sunken placement not as good as last game, or the game before that, but okay. And probe with the Death Wish, but it's pretty nimble, so only 1 hit from the sunken, and a free Zergling kill for Protoss. That's not really as much of a deal as it was in the Zerg versus Zerg matchup, which Cherry Pie has been playing so much lately, but I think that's a preventable loss. But then again, you can't really fault these bots for not being perfect, especially since it's such an unforgiving job to code a Brood War AI. That's not easy. And Cherry Pie going for the in-base hatches again. McRave, I've said it before, I will say it again. Where are those Templar? And if those Templar are there, are they going to be any good? That's really the thing with McRave. You've got to really hope for these Templar, and now a drone is starting a third. Probe spots it, so this force might sweep around and nab that in the bud. Interesting building placement by Cherry Pie. First engagement with the Zealots doesn't really go as well as planned. Have we got the +1? No, we haven't. No storm yet, so the Templar Archives isn't done, or not enough minerals have been gathered yet. All the Zerglings in the world coming from these 5 hatches. No Hydras yet, and a third base for Cherry Pie as well. So it really came to the conclusion that it needed more bases. Of course, the first game was really a little bit awkward, because it was trying to take an expansion on the... Oh, that's a pretty good fight, because half the Zealots were AWOL. And we've got the Templar Archives. So the question is, will McRave get Storm before the Templars can go on strike, or the Zergling never just get too much? And a third operational now, and Protoss fighting in range of the Sunkens. That is not how you do it at all. There is such a high pressure amount of Zerglings behind that. You really need to keep that fight going well, or you will be overrun. And behind this, the production capacity is out of this world. We've got the Lair finishing another hatch, and the army movement of McRave is really suspect. What the bloody hell are these Zealots doing? You ought to be here. And then with 6 Zealots, you might have done a lot of good, and now you're losing goons because you weren't doing your job. Will we have Templar? We've got 1 Templar. The question is, will the Templar come into play, and will it not be stupid? Meanwhile, the Zerglings don't really care for losses. It's really a good day to die for them. And McRave isn't really evaluating this correctly. Sure bet as a Protoss versus Cherry Pie player, get the +1 weapons and you will be golden, because there are so many Zerglings, and with Zealots with the attack upgrades up, but the army placement of McRave is not spot on, and this Templar is... I have a very bad feeling about this. And again, the goons in front, then the zealots and the Templar at home. Storm is done, but it is not easy to see how this is going to go well for Protoss. That is such a hard lot. And again, the Protoss is being overrun in the retreat by all the Zerglings. McRave has got almost double the army supply, and Cherry Pie has half of that. Well, that's sort of logical. But, oh, here comes the Templar. The Templar! The Templar and a bridge. Perhaps it will remember the last game. Storm! Oh god, it's going to be one of these games again, isn't it? No, no Storm for you. I'm just going to die. Ha! Silly Protoss. That's, I don't know what these Protoss do in a case of betrayal like this, but perhaps you're going to be stuck in a two-legged Dragoon or something. It's... Well, we didn't really finish it, and we, of course, we don't really kill our own, but here you go. Or stuck into, you can be an adjudicator and be put into a nexus. That's really, or into a pylon. That might be. Yes, these pylons, they actually look a bit like prisons, and you can just see a sloping head in there, and this might be a Templar in there with these shoulder pads, with these ears. You got these ears at the back. And the head so hanging to the front, that's here, and these might just be... Oh, we've got a muter in the main as well, and the Zerg army's powering through the front door. This High Templar is thinking the better of it too. It's not going to storm for all reasons. Third base, fully saturated. Fourth base is over there, and Cherry Pie looks like is going to take it. 3-2-1. McRave. First game showed a lot of potential. But unfortunately, until you get your Templars sorted out, it's going to be the exit from this elimination stage of the tournament. And Cherry Pie will face one last game versus Microwave, if it doesn't crash in the next minute. And then it will be in the finals versus no one else but Killabot. And I hope it has learned from its previous experience if it wins the next one versus Microwave. Because Killabot took it down 3-0, so it's not really out of the water yet, but it's entering the stage where it's only going to be 3 more players. And we'll return to the bracket. And McRave moving one up, will be playing Microwave, and then we've got Cherry Pie, Microwave, and Killabot as the 3 remaining players. So the entire, all the medals will be awarded to Zerg. Let me... Oh, I'm out of a drink. That's unfortunate because I've got quite a long way to go and my voice is really not as good as I'd like it to be. So we've got the best of 5. It's the losers finals. Cherry Pie versus Microwave. Both of these players dropped to Killabot and are now competing in 5 games to determine who is going to get another chance at that. Build order wise, Pooh first and then an expansion. Oh god. Then, oh well, not too much blood has been shed. But Cherry Pie took some losses in the middle of the map. Microwave with the damagedlings. No, I'm just going to rewind a little bit. Because that's really what it's all about, these main battles. And while we've got this beautiful OpenBW replay viewer, you can see, yes, these lings of Microwaves all pretty low, now heading back to base. The healthy ones continuing the fight while reinforcements are being gathered. And as soon as they get that second bulb of health back, there will be... this one's going. And I think that's a good strategy. It allows Microwave to be 1.5 supply up versus Cherry Pie. And one ling being caught in the retreat. Yes, there it goes. Another one badly damaged. Cherry Pie not really on point with the micro. Natural expansion has been started a lot earlier than that of Microwave. So in that regard, it does have an advantage. And there we go, Microwave being relentless, going for the contain, and what will it do now? It will enter the base of Cherry Pie, lose one more Zergling, and... no, you can't be serious. Goes after the spawning pool, oh god! Takes down a third of the HP, loses 2 Zerglings, and then the last Zergling standing beats it out of there. That's stupid. That's some lackluster prioritizing for you. Sorry, I should be a little bit more hesitant by calling bots stupid, because they are very highly complex AIs, and they if I were to play them, I'd be beaten into the ground 10 out of 10 games. So unless I want them to come and stalk me in my dreams, I should be a little bit more praising of them. Meanwhile, Cherry Pie, though, with a half army supply more, going for the pursuit. More importantly, all its lings are in full health, while those of Microwaves are not. Speed is done for Microwave, though, so Microwave can out-micro this for quite a bit. And has got, if this, yes, it's going to be a Sunken. Sunken will be done momentarily, and meanwhile, yep, there it goes, and now Cherry Pie is going to go away. Losing a couple of lings, but meanwhile has been transferring or building a couple of drones to its natural, and it's now 10 versus 16. Oh, well, Microwave with quite a drone count, that's pretty good. And we've got a bit of a standoff in the middle of the map, and the thing is not to get not to get caught behind these little nooks and crannies and lose a couple of stray lings here and there, because these Zerg versus Zerg matchups are the tightest in the world, and with all half a ling or half a muta might easily determine the outcome of a game. And I don't think that Microwave should have taken that fight, although it's got speed. Its decision to wade into those oak, and that way you get it gets stuck on the edge of the ledge here, and then it will die. And Microwave is a little bit too eager. It's not really assessing the production capacity of Cherry Pie. And Cherry Pie is just taking the better engagement every time and can keep up with army supply, meanwhile replenishing its worker supply at home. So this game will be more balanced. That said, the Spire is out for Microwave, and the lair for Cherry Pie hasn't even started. So Cherry Pie, although doing quite well in the Ling versus Ling fights, it can't really break through these two Sunkens with the Ling support, and will have to contest some mutas relatively oh yeah, there we go, that's the first muta. And then you two mutas. And that is going to be a costly fight. Then again, these mutas will not be entering the main base. Oh, we've got a Nevo chamber and a Spore already. This Overlord will just get away. Yes, it will. But in the natural, we've got Lings, we've got mutas. The Spore isn't done yet. Oh, and the mutas of Microwave engage the Spore head on, and there are only 3. So that's not too good. Worker-wise, though, Cherry Pie lost a couple, is now half worker supply down compared to Microwave. And that's an unfortunate situation. The Scouting Overlord drops from the sky, and Cherry Pie will need to rebuild an Overlord soon as well. And Lings have ventured out on the map again. Don't know if that's wise. Meanwhile, this Sunken's still standing. Oh, and the Lings are going out again. Of course they can outrun mutas with the speed. What are they going to do? Because we've got 2 Sunkens over here. And the mutas in hot pursuit. And these mutas have racked up quite a number of kills between them already. Now, worker-wise, Cherry Pie is rebuilding a little bit, but Microwave is also forging ahead. And also has Spores. That's pretty good, because of course it saw the Spire being built while the Overlord was still there. I don't know where it went. Did it die somewhere? Oh, and now Microwave's after the Spore again. It can't really make up its mind. It's killing some workers though. And while we had 13 earlier, we've now only got 7. And this Spore is really badly damaged. While the mutas from Cherry Pie take the air, they're in a good position, and they're always doing damage, even in a small 2-second lull like that. Just going for a couple of shots on the Overlord. You never waste it. The damage is free anyway. So, doing well, but this is the real problem for Cherry Pie. It's only got 9 workers, and now the army of Microwave is advancing. And I didn't see... Oh, and the Spore is going down. So the natural's depopulated. All the workers have already been transferred back to the main, because they're more protected there by this one Spore. But 9 versus 28 workers. 27 now, or something was built probably, is not really the best. And this one Spore, and all the workers are going down. Microwave showing no mercy in game number 1. Taking down Cherry Pie. Wow, that's pretty... That is pretty amazing. Or at least the way in which it does it is pretty amazing. Really tight defense with the Zerglings and the one Sunken. Then a quick lair with an equally quick Spire behind that, and then mop it up. Nice fighting with the one sunken in the natural, and that's the GG. Microwave takes the game, number 1, and takes the lead. It is Cherry Pie vs Microwave game 2. Will Cherry Pie do a different build order? Microwave going for scouting, then for an in-base hatch. Wow, that's in-base hatch and then a pool, while Cherry Pie is going pool, sunken, and then a couple of links probably. Yeah, there you go. It's really defensive, and might just as well have played really defensive because, and now it sees what's going on. 2 hatches, drones are coming off the line, drone numbers are still 8, no drone died, that's good, but mining time has been lost and Cherry Pie has got 2 workers more, so that's 25 to 20% more income, depending on which way you look at it. 20%. Oh well, let's not get into that. More sunkens and a quick lair, so I think perhaps Cherry Pie thinks, well, I might need a quick lair to, because Mutas versus Zerglings is working pretty well, and I want to be in that position this game. So despite Microwave being 1-0 up, yeah, is that going to be the Spire already? And Microwave's got quite a number of Zerglings, but it's really hesitant to take this sunken head on. It could do so, and this is just throwing hit points away. And go, 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 go! It's going after the workers and loses 3-4 Zerglings in the process. That's not good. Meanwhile, drone count for Microwave is still lagging behind that of Cherry Pie, going for the lair as well. The problem though is that the Spire will be finished about the same time as the lair will in Microwave's base. The Cherry Pie seems to have taken a correct guess at the build order required, but then again, this could have been a lot more deadly with 2 hatches, and you really need to commit to doing damage with your Zerglings then. Oh, and that's a way of taking out an Overlord, surely. Oh dear. Okay, so all in all it's about equal, but the Spire for Microwave is late. And this is the hunting game now in reverse, now with Cherry Pie on top, or at least over these Zerglings, and these Zerglings will be suffering some losses. But with the Spore up already, and I really like the evolution of Zerg over the last year, and it's no small wonder that the first 3 or the last 3 players remaining in this tournament are Zerg, because Iron and Crazio have been so dominant. Of course, Crazio didn't make an appearance in this tournament, wasn't really happy with the performance of his bot, but the Terrans have been so dominant, it's really pushed the Protoss like McRave, B-Reaver and all the other ones with Storm, with Reaver drops, and also the Zerg, they've got to improve, and there is room for improvement, so they have done that. And again you see Microwave with the Spore defense and a lot of Zerglings. I think that's, if you are going to make a lot of Zerglings, well, you sort of have to, because if the Mutas overrun you, you need the Zerglings to stop the DPS from the enemy Zerglings, because the Mutas aren't really going to do the DPS, especially not with a Spore colony over here. These Zerglings, even without full upgrades, have got such an insane amount of DPS, especially versus drones. And there we go. Oh, Cherry Pie throwing away all the Zerglings. That's not good at all, because with only 3 Mutas overhead it doesn't really look like much of a difference, but that's about 40% more damage, especially with all the bounce and the damaged Zerglings, which are low HP units. That was a really good fight for Microwave. And Cherry Pie backing off a little bit. Meanwhile, Microwave has overtaken Cherry Pie in the drone department, is taking expansion. If it can build that expansion and protect it, but Cherry Pie is going to do something about that. The Lings are coming in again, but with the Scourge and the superior mutant numbers of Cherry Pie is in a very good position to make this work. The Air Force of Microwave is no more. And the Zerglings, of course, can't contest the Mutas. So we've got 7 Mutas. And you see the Mutas will take care of the Zerglings of Microwaves, while the Zerglings of Cherry Pies will be attacking the building. So DPS-wise, that's a good decision. But meanwhile, things are way out of control in the air department for Microwave. Cherry Pie has got 8 mutas where Microwave has none. And Cherry Pie, although hasn't got a natural base, I think that's better than just losing a base. And that's only 1 sunken. So this muta will be set on by 4 mutas. And the drones, oh dear, the spore colony is being ignored, but there are mutas and zerglings attacking drones. While Microwave had 27 earlier, it's now got 13 and 11, and still the mutas are taking damage from the spore to be able to kill one more worker. And the mutas are getting pretty low, but there are Scourge for backup. And again, all the mutas for Microwave fall from the sky. And the worker count is now only 9. The Lings and the mutas are in among the workers again. 9, 8, 7. 6. And not mining. That's not good at all. 6 drones left. If this is going to be a sunken or a spore, I don't know. Because there are mutas and zerglings in there. And again, we've got 2 more drones rebuilt. And Cherry Pie not taking the natural. Lots of Scourge in reserve. But by now we've got only 5 workers. They haven't been mining for ages. And again, Cherry Pie is going after the pool. And we saw Microwave do that earlier. I don't know what's so mythical about that pool. But by now we've only got 2 workers left for Microwave. And we've got 1 muta. And now the Scourge coming in. Oh dear, and now all the workers are dead for Microwave. It's got 1 muta. And now it hasn't got a muta anymore. So Cherry Pie about to equalize. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Nice build order counter. The game is balanced once again. And that leaves me with no other choice than go into game number 3. Cherry Pie with the better build order and the better engagements, going for the same one. Oh, and this time Microwave's got a lot of zerglings, which are now entering the base, but with 2 sunkens up already, and that's even more than last game. With the lair starting already, I think that Microwave will either need to make a better decision in the attacking department, but still losing zerglings for no good reason. There are 3 sunkens, and once you're in this area, this one in the rear will also be doing a little bit of the fighting. So I think this build order can work. No mistake about it, but you've got to gather a critical mass of zerglings, assess the strength of the enemy, and then go in there and do damage. So either take down the sunkens or take down the workers, take down something. But this hopping in and out is not really going to do anything at all. And now the zerglings are sort of retreating, flowing back and forth a little bit. Meanwhile, the Aspire is done, and the first muta is out already, and there is a sunken? It's a spore colony from Microwave, and it's got the Spire done as well. So, yeah, with a good defensive position, and it will all come down to Micro, because both players have got mutas, and Zerglings is now the muta for Microwave. Oh dear, is here out in the middle of the field. Shouldn't fight 2 mutas at once, that's very detrimental to your health, and can be demonstrated over here. Yeah, a little bit of damage done. Ooh, 3rd base not really going to be constructed this time. And another drone is going to be deconstructed, and a 3rd one as well. Eventually. Probably. Yep, there it goes. So, Cherry Pie with the contain, and Microwave with the worker lead. Wow, that's pretty considerable. And with the spore, and every once in a while, I think, no. Cherry Pie now over the workers, but this spore colony is doing so much damage. That is out of this world. And that is really going to... Sorry. Occasionally I will die a little bit. Cherry Pie taking good battles here at the natural, killing a lot of drones. Ooh, these 2 just live, and the air force of Microwave is considerable. Would be a little bit better if it got sunken out here as well, but for the time being it's still 23 versus 12 workers. And of course the air force of Microwave is growing. That Cherry Pie has got a larger army is mainly because of the Zerglings, and these Zerglings don't play as larger role anymore. The Scourge, I think, are a nice touch, because they can do a lot of damage, but first you've got to mix it up, have Mutas and Scourge attack simultaneously. Otherwise, and I hope to be able to show you that, otherwise these Mutas of Microwave can out-micro Scourge, and that's a really beautiful thing to see. And that's the reason why these Scourge alone are not really coming to grips with these Mutas of Microwaves. And Microwave has found time to construct the third, even beyond my vision, or my attention rather. As you can see, these bots are spamming APM like crazy. It's 13.5 versus 7k, and already it's fluctuating wildly, so now only 12.5 for Cherry Pie. But that means that these bots can do all kinds of stuff all over the map, and these are really relatively confined conflicts. Cherry Pie trying to do damage with the Zerglings, but the Mutaforce is on top of that, and judging by the shadows underneath, the Mutaforce is coming into its own, and wow. Oh no, I didn't. Oh, that's quite a lot of Scourge. So I think that's okay, but you've got to try and get something done with the Scourge. It could be that the Scourge micro, and that is what happens when Mutas fight Scourge in AI versus AI. You really, if you code them well. Oh, and the Muta. Oh, there is a Sunken. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Where is the Mutaforce of Microwave? Microwave has got the smaller army, but it's got 3 times as much mining power as got Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie hasn't even got the natural yet, and Microwave is mining gas at the third already. And now all the Scourge and Mutas are coming in. The Lings are coming in, killing a drone. There is no Sunken, but the Spore is firing from the rear. The drones are holding their own, and once the dust clears, all the Scourge are dead. Oh, we've got one Muta over here, which is being set on. Oh, and the Mutas give it up. Oh, that's that one thing that Microwave could improve on. But there is an incursion in the natural, and of course that is a higher value than the third. But they forget the Muta again, although it's still inside of the Overlord range, side range. Could be a little bit more persistent there, but I think that Microwave got things well under control. It's nearly got 4 times as many workers. It's got a Queen's Nest, it must be the Hive. Let me have a small look at the upgrades. We've got +1 ground armor, +1 air armor, and speed, and only speed for Cherry Pie. And this one Muta's still over there. And again the Mutas come in to save it, but will they'll forget it again. And that's really unfortunate, because that could be potentially very costly. I doubt it will matter much in this game anymore, because, well, Cherry Pie sitting behind 4 Sunkens and 3 hatches, lots of Overlords mulling about. Army-wise, nabbing a Zergling here and there, making some incursions on the natural again, but with 44 versus 12 workers, and here come the Mutas again, killing another drone, or no, 1.5 drone. It's not really enough, not at this point. Microwave could throw up a Sunken, would make it a lot easier, but now this Muta has been cleared somehow. Now it's 6.5 army supply versus the bold 33 of Microwave. Microwave killing a Scourge, killing a couple of Zerglings, just taking its sweet time. It's got 3 bases. No need to worry. The Hive is up. We've got an Ultra Cavern and another Evo Chamber. So Microwave switching it up to the late game, it looks like. Upgrade-wise, Adrenal Glands finished, +1 armor for both are finished, so +2 is being started as well. And now the workers force of Cherry Pies has been depleted. And Microwave is looking to take this to a 2-1 situation. Wow. Well, Microwave. Cherry Pie with the build order which took it over Microwave last game, but Microwave anticipated. And that is really some nice learning, where you take what build order brought you victory last game. But then again, the enemy will be automatically 1 step up if it counters the loss. So you've got to think the next level, well, if I countered him that way last game, it's not going to succeed another time. So I've got to think about the third game while I counter the first game already. And that is really deep, because then you can get all kinds of bluff. It will also be based on scouting information and recognizing what your enemy is doing. Cherry Pie now in hot pursuit of the Lings of Microwave. Cherry Pie now going for the quick expansion again, while Microwave is going for more Lings. And it's got a couple of more Lings, but it's not really all that impressive. Going for an expansion as well a little bit later, which will mean that Cherry Pie has got a little bit of a window and a third hatch. That's pretty ballsy. Cherry Pie has got 7 versus 5 workers, and that's going to be a row. Microwave rebuilding one. That's good, I think. But Cherry Pie appears to be in a little bit better position with an extra hatch up already. Army supplies are dead even. Cherry Pie 1 worker up. Ooh, losing a Ling for free. That's unfortunate. And it's the small difference. 1 more worker, 1 more Ling, that are going to be deciding factors in a Zerg versus Zerg like this one. And Cherry Pie has got to win this game to keep its tournament hopes alive. And ooh, that was a really good fight. Lots of damaged Lings on Cherry Pie's team. But the natural is dead. The reinforcing Zerglings are dead. And now Cherry Pie's got 3 hatches, 9 versus 6 workers. Not to forget 11 army supply worth of Zerglings in the enemy base. So there you go. Cherry Pie equalizing. We are going to go to a 5th match, and I'll be happy to cast that for you. So, last game for both of these players in the losers round. This is the last game of the losers round. The winner will move on to the grand finals, where is waiting Killerbot. And Killerbot is a deadly force, and as deadly as they come, especially in Zerg versus Zerg. Microwave going for a Zergling run by. No, doesn't really pull it off. Cherry Pie with a 2 worker lead, which will mean that it was a 6 pool by Microwave versus a 9 pool of Cherry Pie with the defender's advantage. That's always a good idea. So if you are going to do a 4 pool or a 6 pool, you've got to commit, you've got to get damage out of it, and Microwave looks like it isn't really succeeding. And now also blocking its worker in on the ramp, and that's a really early timing for an expansion. It's 5 workers, but it needs the hatch for larvae, and catching a couple of the Zerglings of Cherry Pies on the run. That is good. Microwave appears to be in a good position. The expansion for Cherry Pie is up, and it has more links. It's got 1 more drone, so it's same situation as last game really. Small advantages going to grow out of control. Neither of them has got gas or speed, so for the time being it's a bit of a stalemate. Cherry Pie a little bit ahead, 2 workers ahead now, 1 army supply ahead. And Cherry Pie is smelling blood. It's going for the pursuit, catching 1 Ling off guard, caught off from the herd, cut down dead, and Cherry Pie now on the move. And there we go, losing 2 Lings, that's good. Microwave now half an army supply ahead. He is trying to rebuild workers, but Cherry Pie also built 1, so that's going to be beneficial for Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie, oh, and overkill. Microwave going for the gas. I don't know if that's wise, but perhaps if you can take a couple of fights with speed versus no speed, that would be better. You can cycle your wounded drones, which Microwave can do, as it demonstrated earlier. So perhaps that is a wise decision. It's 10 versus 8 workers. Problem is though that Cherry Pie is going to have, or already has, 3 hatches, all workers mining minerals, and Microwave now with a small round of drones equalizing the worker numbers has got a little bit of gas, but it will take a while before that's going to pay off. And one drop of gas away from speed, waiting for it. And there you go. Is that... no, that's not speed going to be started. That's a sunken, a creep colony being started, and I think it's going to need one, because Cherry Pie is getting really out of control, using all its minerals for Zerglings. Now only now starting gas. No speed started yet, and we've got 1 sunken coming up. No sunkens on the end of Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie senses it's ahead in the army supply department. And Microwave, what can it do? It's 3 workers down, 7 army supply, or 6.5 army supply down. And, well, it's got an Overlord, that's always nice for companionship, but I doubt that it's really going to do it a lot of good. What's this? Probably going to be an Evo chamber. Oh, and the lair is started, so we are going to see an attempt to reach the spire, but will it be in time? Worker-wise, it's 8.5 army supply down. Microwave with the sunken, second sunken being thrown up in haste. No, that's still a creep colony. And now with the one sunken, the Zerglings will have to fight. Cherry Pie is pouring in. Will it have enough? Worker-wise, it's almost double. It's not yet reinforcing. The second sunken isn't done. The Ling numbers for Microwave are falling. This is the 5th game. If Microwave loses this, the drone should have been pulled earlier. We've got 2 sunkens now. One is being engaged, and Lair's being engaged. The last sunken's being engaged. The workers are falling. This is very unfortunate. Microwave, who had fought so well through the winners bracket only last week, dropping 2 kilobot, is now on the brink of extinction. The lair is up. Will it have time to plant down a spire in the main base and pump out 1 muter to save the day? Doesn't look like it. And the Lings, oh wow, the Lings bring it back from the dawn of extinction, the brink of extinction. Oh dear, they are now going for a counter. And Cherry Pie has got spores. Really didn't read into the puppeteer of Microwave as well as it could have, but has got 3 hatches. So we'll be pumping out a lot of Zerglings, and Microwave's got this one last chance. Yeah, Cherry Pie's got speed. The speed of Microwaves isn't yet finished. And Cherry Pie is in pursuit. This last Ling of the Microwave army is getting its tail bitten off. It's gnawed on its ankles by the hungry, ravenous red Zerglings of Cherry Pie. And Cherry Pie, with 16 versus 9 workers, appears to be in a good position. Now the tide of the battle is turning with speed. Both players are going at it again. Cherry Pie for the moment retreating. Microwave is going on the advance, taking 1 Zergling which caught itself onto the wall. Oh, and then Microwave lost a couple of Zerglings again, down in the army supply, down half in worker supply. If Microwave can't get anything done very quickly, this is the spire, but will it be in time? That's the question. No sunkens again, and I think that Cherry Pie is coming in for the kill now, going after the Zerglings. The Zerglings will need to turn and fight. The drones will have to be pulled, but the drones are not pulled. This is the last bit of tournament life in Microwaves. Oh, Microwave, what are you doing? Losing drones again. That was a nice fat round of drones, but boy, that was just not enough. All the naturals being depopulated again, and this time there seems to be no saving it. The spire is not yet done. Some more Lings are being pumped, sent out from the main, but what can they do? What can they do? The lair has been torn down, and although these 5 Zerglings of Microwaves are saving the day, the extractor is dead. These Zerglings of Cherry Pies do not attempt to run, they are just going for the throat. And now Microwave is dead in the water with only 16 workers versus 4 workers versus 16 of Cherry Pies. And Cherry Pie has only got, oh, well, it's rebuilding some army now. And the spire is up. Will we see a muter yet? Yes, but it will be on Cherry Pie's team, and here it comes. So the last drones are falling. Microwave on its last toes. It's really still trying to stabilize, but here come 2 muters, and that will be too much. The drones are coming off the line, but it's not going to work. The muters and the Zerglings for Cherry Pie are going to be the deciding factor in this losers bracket final. And down goes the spire. And Microwave, thank you very much for all the beautiful games you've given us, not only in the round robin, but also in this very last best of 5 versus Cherry Pie. And Cherry Pie had to go very deep and hard to be able to take you out, and that is the game. So congratulations, Cherry Pie. And I haven't been able to update this bracket, but it was Cherry Pie over McRave, now Cherry Pie over Microwave, which will mean that we will have one last game of Killerbot versus Cherry Pie. And we had that earlier. Killerbot took it 3-0 versus Cherry Pie, which is no mean feat, because you can see what Cherry Pie has been doing. Cherry Pie took down Tyr Protoss 2-0, McRave 3-2. And then in the losers bracket, Ironbot 3-2, McRave again 3-1, and then Microwave 3-2. Cherry Pie has been fighting hard, but can it make good with all its learning algorithms to beat Killerbot, who beat it with a score of 3-0 already? Without saving my voice, I'm going to go into the best of 7, which will be the finals. And the finals will start with Cherry Pie versus Killerbot, coded by Marion DeVecca. Of course, the team behind Cherry Pie consists, among others, of Gabriel Sane, of TSEMU, and Dan Gant, author of Purple Wave. Cherry Pie, good luck. First encounter with Killerbot was a 0-3 wash, and it will all be down to the build order because Killerbot is such a ZVZ expert. It has been tearing down Zergs all over the place for a year, and no one's really been able to touch it. We are going to enjoy a 9 pool by Cherry Pie, and this was a 9 pool, 9 gas by Killerbot, and this is, I will show you, it's Evo Chamber. And then another drone, so delaying the first round of Zerglings. And here we go. Cherry Pie will have to put all its micro, macro, cunning and learning to the test to be able to kill Killerbot. Killerbot with the later lings, but it means it's got the +1 started already. And it will be going for speed as well. And Cherry Pie is going for a quick expansion, so that will be all the rage. And +1 and speed both have been started for Killerbot, and Killerbot will have this window where it will have an equal number of better upgraded and faster lings than has the enemy. It's now 8 versus Cherry Pie, really it's 6 versus 4 army supply. No sunken for Killerbot yet, and Killerbot is patiently waiting until those two are finished. Cherry Pie is going for another hatchery, which may be a valid build order. We'll soon have to find out, because Killer is sitting with a calm 300 APM, which are being spent on the drones mining. Speed is almost done, +1 is half finished, and the natural is finished for Cherry Pie. So Cherry Pie will have the numbers. Ooh, and Killerbot will not want to lose that drone. Is looking to taking the natural. And the first 3 lings of Cherry Pies are dying. Cherry Pie not really committed to either defense or offense. It's flapping about a little bit, but the lings with speed of Killerbots are in pursuit and are going for the victory. This batch of... oh, they're only chasing 1 ling, and Killerbot digging its own grave. It's killed the 1 ling, but there is a large force of Zerglings behind it. It can now kill some rallies at relatively low cost, and it will have to turn and fight. The +1 isn't done yet, and Cherry Pie has got 3 hatcheries at a disposal. Some lings of killers are going to be caught, I fear. No, they just make it out with the speed. And is there a natural? It's very, very late. Oh dear, that's very unfortunate. Lots of minerals unspent, and I think that Cherry Pie has got the better build order in this game. It is now 8.5 versus 4.5 army supply, and although Killer's got speed and the +1 is done, I fear it's not going to be enough. Killer will have to fight. We'll try to get a nice concave, aided by this hatchery, providing some flanking and a hatchery in the main base to provide some extra larvae. But the natural has been torn to shreds. This hatchery is going to be late, and Cherry Pie has got 2 workers up. We'll have a 3rd hatchery at its disposal soon. These Zerglings of Killerbots are being caught in the corner, and Cherry Pie not wasting any time, going for the throat in the first game, and is now going after the Evo Chamber, which is sort of worthless because there aren't any more lings anyway. And the lings which are there are in the mineral line. The drones are coming out to fight as well. Killerbot trying to do what it can, but the worker numbers are slowly dropping. The army supply is down to 1 Zergling. And Cherry Pie. Wow, Killer saves it 1 last time, but it's 3 versus 11 workers. And although you've got 2 hatches now, your worker count is just down the toilet, and that's not good. 4 workers already mining at the natural. Cherry Pie, although it hasn't got any upgrades, whatever, it's got twice as many units. It's got 3 times as many workers. and only the Micro of God himself can now keep Killerbot in this game. That said, with the Zergling production, I think you can just about supply enough income. Oh, that's another drone. So don't count Killer out just yet, because it has got quite good decision making, and drone production has sort of you need about 2 drones for 1 Zergling producing hatchery, so that is good. The problem is though that Killer is facing a Zerg which will tech to lair, and then it will all be over, and then again it will be an uphill battle, all the base is damaged. Oh, look at that. And now Cherry Pie is coming in for the kill. A very small Zergling army left, and of course they've still got the better upgrades, but speed will be done for Cherry Pie momentarily. Cherry Pie going after it, and Killer with some last desperate hatching Zerglings isn't really daring to take on this ravenous force. It could take it on. Some rearguard actions really making things work. The fighting and decision making by Killerbot is really outstanding, but it really cut its foot off, or its right arm rather, when it had this engagement over here where it sent 10 lings after 1 Zergling while it lost another fight with 6 versus 12 Zerglings to Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie will have the lair done momentarily. Will it have any upgrades other than that? No, it doesn't look like it. And with the defender's advantage and 3 hatches versus only 2, Cherry Pie is in a good position. And Killer can't really eke out another drone, or can it? And that will be also very tight. Now broken through in the natural, going after the the natural hatchery. And army-wise, it's 7 versus 3. Killerbot, how can you let this happen? You've got a lair, and there will be a spire too, but if Killerbot can rally a couple of more Zerglings to its aid, it's going to be a major pain in the ass in the main in a very short moment. Killerbot not keeping its force together, but winning the battle in the main, going after the workers. The Zerglings are pulling back from the natural, going to help. And, well, oh, they're going after a wild drone chase again. Meanwhile, losing a Zergling over here. The drones are being engaged. The drone numbers for Cherry Pie are plummeting. The Spire, though, is finishing, and the rallies. Oh, the Lynx. Cherry Pie might just have won this. Killer can't, with his meager production, keep up, and now the lair will finish. And Killer, what can it do with some more rallies? These Lynx are sort of damaged, and of course they haven't got the +1. Killer on the offensive once more, but I think with the 9 versus 4 workers and the 2 hatches, still 1 hatch has been killed. Here comes the Spire. What can Killerbot do? That was a nice battle, again in among the drone line, and killing 1 more drone. Will there be a muter? No, there is no muter yet, so Killerbot can still do this. It's winning the Ling fights, it's going after the drones again, and its drone hunting behavior is really lackluster with damaged drones. It's running through the mineral lines, but it's winning the Zergling fight, and there is no muter at all for Cherry Pie, and there is no mining being done by Cherry Pie, well, at least not much. These Zerglings of Killerbots are so absolutely gobsmackingly brutal. They are taking drones out 1 at a time. Only 1-2 drones are now mining with the defender's advantage. Zergling production of Cherry Pie is making this sort of work, but now I think it isn't. Oh, with the last hit, this Zergling survives. These 4 Zerglings in the top base are making it work. It's now 2 versus 4 workers, and although there are a couple of Lings more, and there are no more Lings for Cherry Pie, the last work is being set on by a handful of Zerglings. Killerbot brought this back from the brink of death. It was so close to being taken down in the first game, and now the Lings are streaming in, just 2 at a time. That was really as tight as Zerg versus Zergs go, and Killer takes the first game over Cherry Pie. Shut up, I don't want a nap, I want the next game. Shut up, I want the next game, I told you. Here, let's go. The map is Jade, Killerbot playing as the red Zerg in the bottom left, and Cherry Pie is playing the purple Zerg in the bottom right. If this wasn't a good Zerg versus Zerg in the last game, I can... This is really rather magnificent. So, Cherry Pie going for 9 pool, 8 gas, and Killer is going to do its bread and butter. It's going to do its pool into Evo chamber, into very quick gas. And Cherry Pie, what tricks has it got up its sleeve? I thought that build order with the very quick natural was going to beat Killerbot, but Killerbot veered through its knees, through its ankles, through its toes, now losing the battle, but brought it back from the brink of death. And Killerbot really ought not to have taken this this fight. Now it's got a problem because it can now fight with the drones and take some damage on the extractor. That's not really a problem. The speed of Killer will be done a little bit faster. And Cherry Pie now going for a very, very quick lair. And what's it doing with the workers? You can't be... Oh, that could do you in, because there are... Oh god, here we go. The Lings of Killers are coming in again, and Cherry Pie losing battles in the middle of the map, and you can have a sunken and another... Is this a sunken? Small peak, yes, that's another sunken before a spire. But Killer, what can it do? How deadly will it be? It's running in, and it decides not to want to have anything to do with that just yet. It's hovering on the edge of the sunken range, and it's taken... God, this is going to be the end of me. It is taken a natural immediately after that. So it's not going to do a one-base play. It is going to sit in Cherry Pie's lap with a growing force of Zerglings, and it's... this drone is trying to live. Now it's going after the drones, after the sunkens all at once, and that's not a good decision. You've got to make up your mind. Not losing too much though, wasting a bit of mining time, and that's good because Cherry Pie really hasn't. Oh, here that's another sunken. So the spire will be very late, which will give Killer more time to build its natural. Killer is 2 workers down, which is not all that bad because Cherry is spending a lot of minerals on sunkens. But versus a Zerg bot of this caliber, what can you do? This is really approaching a fat round of drones. Round of drones. God, this game is really going to be the end of me. I'll have to keep reminding myself that this is still a... God. It's still... This is the final game of the Student StarCraft AI Tournament 2017 finals. It's Cherry Pie versus Killerbot. Killerbot, of course, the creation of Marion Iveka. Cherry Pie is the bot of Facebook and is going for the lair now. And Killer, what's it going to do? It's got quite a bit of drones. It's got the natural, but it hasn't really... It's going... I think it's going for a drone sweep, and that is... going to be very difficult because by now there are 4 sunkens and the spire is brewing. So that is going to be tough to break, really tough to break, especially once this spire is done. There will be a muter, and Killer really hasn't got anything. Well, it's got an evo chamber, so might be building a couple of spores too. And with 3 bases, what's Killer producing? Small peak. Lots of Zerglings, and Cherry Pie is going for Scourge, and that's very cute, but it's not going to do an awful lot of good. And another hatchery, so very compact one-base play by Cherry Pie, and the first muter is going to be out as well, and Killer is going for Zerglings, but it will have to make something work with the Zerglings, because if it doesn't, the muters will be all over the Zerglings, and we saw earlier in Cherry Pie versus Microwave. And there goes Killerbot going after the workers and then going out again. And now we've got a situation where we've got a muter and Killerbot is stuck on Zerglings. Has it got a plan B? Because it can't obviously break the... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, and I think that Cherry Pie has found Killerbot's Achilles heel. It cannot transition out into something else. It's going full Ling, and the Lings are not doing anything. The Lings are being all killed by... Oh, the Lings are going to retreat now, and they're going to flap about, and these muters are really doing a nice job. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And Killerbot was committing, but isn't really taking the ultimate consequence that it will need to do damage with these Lings. We've got 3 muters now, more are coming. Cherry Pie building 2 Overlords, although it's got lots of room left in the supply department. But with 3 Mutas, it's in a pristine position. The Lings are coming in again. They are going after. What are they going after? They can't make up their minds. They are not touching the drones and not... Oh, well, one drone has been sort of damaged. And Killerbot is now having its way. And... no, Cherry Pie is having its way with the Lings. And the Muta count is growing. And this is not a safe place for these Zerglings to park themselves. And Killerbot can't do anything else, so I'll speed it up just a tiny little notch, because once these bots have grown not catatonic, but just committed to something and won't get out of it, it's not really interesting to see how they will not get out of it. And now all the drones are dead. Cherry Pie has done it with a very quick very quick lair into a Spire, and that is the 1-1. So next game up, Killerbot versus Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie, what can it do now? We haven't got an overlay, so I'll keep mentioning the scores every once in a while. It's 1-1, and of course, this being a best of 7, we've got quite a number of games ahead of us. Question is, will Killerbot be able to beat this? And we'll see a very quick gas, a very quick pool again, and some rather interesting drone micro, very quick sunken. I like that, and this again is the same build all over again. It's the very quick gas with +1 and speed. But at the point where you've got the sunken in the main mineral line and the Zergling production of a Cherry Pie, the question is, has Killerbot got a build order which can beat this setup? It shouldn't really have taken that fight already. Was trying to do so. Cherry Pie coming out on top, and will now have to be escorted home, but has got the second sunken up and the lair starting already. Killer going for the expansion, but please do something else this game, because if it's going to be the last game, we saw that the Zerglings of Killerbot couldn't really commit to an attack, and even right now, although there are three sunkens already. If you are going to commit to Zerglings, you've got to do damage with them, and even if you are trading unfavorably or losing all of them, you've got to do damage. So if you could kill half of this workforce... Oh no! This is surely not going to be the place of the Spire, because it's only covered by 1 sunken, and then the Lynx can kill it. That's really unfortunate. Let's see what Cherry Pie is going to do. We saw that earlier. It has this wacky base layout plan where it will insist of building a Spire over here or something over here. My poor lungs. It will build something over here, and it will not succeed because it's threatened by the Lings. Now Killerbot has got this natural up, and Cherry Pie, where will it be building this game's Spire? It will build over here, and it's not working. It's not working at all. And no, I was too late. And everything that's being built here will be sniped by the Lings at a cost. But that's not the worst. The worst is that every time it loses a Spire or a sunken, it's losing money. And Killerbot has got the positional advantage in this game. Worker-wise, it's 9 versus 13 workers, but a lot of workers are being pulled off. And I really think that Cherry Pie is trying to build a... oh, it's built the Spire over here now. That's good. But it's lost a lot already, and lost a lot of drones, and Killer really ought to reconsider what it's doing. It can kill the 4th sunken, and it can kill the occasional drone. That's costing Cherry Pie a lot of resources, but the fact is that this Spire is going to finish sooner or later, and then it will be a Muta, and now the drones are under attack. Let's have a health statement on all of them. And if this... Oh, the Lings need to be here to cancel this building. And they're going after... Oh, they killed the sunken again. But The spire is up and the first muta is in production, as can be seen. What can the Lynx still do? Going after the workers, going after the Sunken falls. The drones are all under attack. The first muta is out, but what can he do to protect all the drones at once? And the Lynx now will need to commit, but Killabot still on a limited number of workers. It will need to commit, and it will need to commit now. Is the second muta? No, the second muta is not still building, but the Sunken is going to be there. This one muta might just have saved the entire bacon fleet of Cherry Pie. The Sunken is going to be up, and Cherry Pie still got 8 workers. What is the Zergling army going to do if not just die over here? That is such a sad state of affairs. And Cherry Pie is doing this. It's resuming with gas mining, and it will have enough for another muta soon. Building a Scourge first, and Killabot is not building any workers. That is so... well, if you are going... oh god, and that's really the downside of casting AI games, because... oh, and they kill it! You can so easily kill it. You're going to be killed anyway by the mutas. Just go and do it. If these bots get stuck on doing one thing, the caster is immediately stuck on doing saying the same thing all over again. So this game, if this game plays out 4 times in this way, it's not going to be very interesting at all. And the Lings, oh dear, Cherry Pie stabilizing, building more mutas and more Scourge as well. I don't know what that's good for, but you never know. And these Zerglings, this is not a safe place. Oh, please. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, but it's going to be so painful to watch this if Killabot can't get anything else done. And by now we've got a muta in the natural mineral line where nothing's happening. It would be much worse if it were here, but oh dear, the muta count is going to grow. The worker count of Cherry Pie is growing, and yeah, it's going to be running back and forth. And there are so many Zerglings, but are just too stupid to do any bloody thing. It's so frustrating, and then the muta count is growing. The next hatchery is up for Cherry Pie, and although Cherry Pie might take a while, the Lings are in there as well, doing a lot of damage to these buildings. And now with the Lings and the workers, Killabot is... oh, it lost all the workers again. So Cherry will be 1 game up, and that was the game. Oh dear, what a nail-bitingly close thing it was. And I think, judging from the games we saw against Microwave, that Cherry Pie is going to stick to its very defensive 1-base muta play until Killabot will devise something to cancel it. And Killabot is going for the plus speed, +1 build again. And as much as this build is very deadly, I think once it's countered, it's just no good anymore, and you are going to need a plan B. Killabot with the first Lynx skirmish loses out to Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie with only 4 Lings, and Killer is making it work, but behind all this, while the upgrades are finishing, Killer is just not taking the right fights, and we've got 2 Sunkens now, soon to be 3. And Killer has got such a lot of balls, made it into the grand finals, through the winners bracket. Only needed 1 chance, but can't do anything else. It can't. It doesn't dare commit to either kill a Sunken or kill the workers or kill something. Now the Spire is done. We are going to see the first mutas, and again waiting in and out of the Sunken range is just not doing it. No great drone production, no spore colonies. That is going to be your downfall, because these mutas will kill any number of Zerglings you throw at them, and it's just not going to work. Cherry with the better building placement, not trying to build anything in range of the Zergling herd this time. Next hatchery will be up soon too. And 2 mutas in the natural mineral line. Nothing in the main mineral line, which will prolong Killabot's suffering a little bit. Still this game. But with 2 hatches and quite a nice number of workers, Cherry Pie is all over this, and will be bringing some links for the destruction of the natural base too. And this is just sad to see Killer in such an unadaptive state. Only got one build order. Oh dear, oh dear. One muter in the mineral line of the main. Might have easily built a couple of spores. Might have built more drones. Might have been so much more deadly in that regard. But it's not going to work. The natural's down. The main is down. And Cherry Pie, wow. Bringing it back to... Well, that's the 3-1. Oh dear, let me catch my breath. Cherry Pie having, and I'll remind you by means of showing you, Cherry Pie took down Tier Protoss, McRave, and fell to Killerbot 3-0. Then in the lower bracket beat Ironbot, beat McRave again, and then beat Microwave. So took a really long and arduous path and is now on the brink of killing Killerbot. Because Killerbot, what can it do to bring back this game? It will need another build order. Cherry Pie has found the perfect plan, and there is a small chance that it will try and build something over here where it's in range of the Zerglings. But again, and now Cherry Pie is, that's I think is a good decision by Killerbot, because earlier it would move out on the map and lose that first battle versus the 6 lings of Cherry Pies. Now it's staying at home until it's got a little bit larger army. And now Cherry Pie has scouted out all the possibilities and has found the base. And now Killerbot has got the larger army, so it is in a good position taking an expansion behind that. That is the right choice. Now with speed done and a +1 finishing up, is this Sunken in the bad place? Can it be taken down? The lings of Killers are moving in, but they dare not engage this Sunken, and if this Sunken is going to be finished, I fear the worst for Killerbot. It's going to take its distance, but it will have to fight Zerglings and Sunkens at the same time. And that, oh, this Sunken is engaged, but not really enough. And the lings are, wow, they are wavering, they are... And this is the Spire, so this might be threatened. But what are these lings doing over here? Has Killerbot found another way, another plan? Is it building more drones, this small peak? No, it's just going for lings. But half of the... Oh, and it tore down... Oh god, I missed... Aha. I've got open BW. Haha. It's going after the Spire. It tore down the Spire, so it will need to win 3 straight games to be able to win this game and the finals. It's going after the Sunken. The Sunken is badly covered. And Cherry Pie, will it? Oh, it's going to lose another worker force, sort of free. And now Killerbot, what's it going to do? It cut off a couple of workers from the herd. It is going to kill this one too, I think. Let's turn down to normal, to faster speed. And that is really beautiful, because Cherry Pie has got the worker lead, but it's trying to rebuild stuff here, and that's just not working. Killer is also attacking this Sunken. This time it is sort of committing. And with regards to the last 2 games, sort of committing is better than not committing at all. Cherry Pie is losing mining time, is losing workers, is going to lose this Sunken. Yes, the Sunken is falling, so that means that also... Also, the spawning pool is under attack, and if I'm not very much mistaken, Cherry Pie will cycle to another build order. If this build order fails, it's trying to rebuild this spore colony here, but it's got only 2 more workers, and one is being killed over here. One is sort of going to work, but now Killerbot is all over this, and with waiting before sending its Zerglings in, has taken control of the enemy mineral line, and only 1 drone, and oh no, 0 drones, correct me. And Killerbot, never underestimating Killerbot, is going to bring this back from being 1-0 up to being 3-1 down. Is going to be 2 games to 3 for Killerbot. And Killerbot, what can I say? I can't say nothing at all. I will load game number 6 in this best of 7. Killerbot, by Marian Diveka, going to face Cherry Pie by the Facebook team, headed by Gabriel Senev, and of course his faithful adjutants TSC Moo and Dan Gant, author of Purple Wave. It is going to be a joy to watch this. Is Cherry Pie going to select another build order? It looks like it, because the very safe, or isn't it? Isn't it? Is it or isn't it? Is it going to plant down a Sunken over here to make this another attempt at the very safe one base muta play? Or is it going to go for a more... Yes, and that might just be Cherry Pie's good luck, because any other build order I fear is just going to be a prey for Killerbot. Killerbot going for its usual bread and butter, +1, plus speed, and it is oh God. I'm either going to have a heart attack or having to... I will need something to drink. I've been casting this for way too long, and it's going to send its lings out. And in last game, you remember that Killerbot kept its lings at home. And there are no lings. Oh, there are lings. Where are the lings? The lings of Cherry Pies are scouting out the map. And Killerbot with the better scout is going to do better. Perhaps it can get something done before the second Sunken is up. But then again, it will be backstabbed by these lings here again. And now they have spotted each other. There's going to be a battle. Cherry Pie appears to be having the better of it. And the lings of Killers are doing nothing here as always. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Killer now going for the natural. That's a good decision, but it will really need to fight with all of its unit at the same point. And by being out on the map with a little bit of luck, I think these two Zerglings for Cherry Pie, ooh, that might be costly, because by now the speed for Killer is done, for Cherry Pie isn't. So these lings might die, and if they don't die to the pursuing lings, they've got this buffer of containing lings in this base here. God. So Killerbot with the good contain, and it will need a bit of luck. Will Cherry Pie decide to build a spire and a creep colony here? Or will it try to build it somewhere else? Killerbot is going to have to fight hard though, because Cherry Pie is so good. Yes, and it can go after... Oh, these lings really ought not to commit to killing this. Oh, that is so... Oh, that's squad micro failure, but then again, some gas mining time lost. That might have been worth it, because the natural is going to be done soon too. The question is, where is Cherry Pie going to build the spire and the fourth Sunken? Going to speed it up just a notch, because my voice and myself will be failing me in the very near future, I think. And is going for it, going for the drone. Lots of Zerglings lost, but then again the drone is killed. And this is not the safe position for the spire. Oh, and Cherry Pie trying to make it work with a couple of lings, but not really enough. And this Sunken is sort of exposed, so a Cherry Pie under a lot of pressure. Killerbot only with the 9 workers, and if it please could build... This was a Sunken or creep. And Cherry Pie is going to build a Sunken over here. That might not be the good position, but with the Sunken, 2 Sunkens here, you might be able to eke out a spire over there. And Killerbot going for the Sunken over here, but the last... Oh, it's just the lings are not committed enough. And that is not good at all. Is this going to be... This is going to be the spire, and this spire is safe. So unless Killerbot can really gather the balls to make a last-ditch attempt on killing anything in this area or over here in the bottom, but this compact building placement by Cherry Pie seems to be the bane of Killerbot. And once this spire is done, there is only... And yes! Killer is going after the Sunken, but doesn't really in the last instant. Oh, it retreats. Oh, what a shame. And now the building placement for Cherry Pie is just too good. These few lings are not being wasted. They are distracting the Zergling numbers, and Oh, the first Mutas being built. The time is now. Killerbot will have to strike now with all its might. All the Lings will need to be thrown after this again. Going for the Sunkens, going for the drones, but the first Muta is out. The drone numbers are plummeting. Killerbot, can it get anything done? The last two Sunkens are there, but Killerbot needs to go. Oh, it needs to go now. Full balls to the walls. There are two Mutas. And two Mutas I think it can handle, but it doesn't dare to. The Lings are all messed up. They are conflicted. They are not killing drones. They are not killing Sunkens. And Cherry Pie is so lucky that Killerbot isn't not as brave as it needs to be. It's going... it's going after the hatchery. It's going after the drones. It's going after the Sunkens. But it needs to pick a target, kill that target, and not distribute the damage equally among all the targets in the base. The third Muta is started, and will this be Killerbot's victory? No, demise. Sorry. Will this be Cherry Pie's tournament victory, making it through such a long list of opponents? The Lings are beaten back by a couple of Scourge and the Mutas. And Killerbot couldn't make it work in the very last game. This has been so tight. It is 3-2 and is soon going to be 4-2 because Killerbot hasn't got a plan B, and its plan A was just barely not good enough to break this SimCity. And now Cherry Pie is out on the map with all the Mutas. And this might be my very last game I'll ever cast, but what a tournament this has been. This is the tournament which saw a lot of good players enter and a lot of improvements, and of course we'd all be missing Crazio, but McRave wasn't good enough. Microwave wasn't good enough to beat these two Zerg Paragons, Cherry Pie and Killerbot. Killerbot building Zerglings for what it's worth, but there are Zerglings and Mutas from Cherry Pie all over it, and this is not a large number of Mutas. Killerbot could have done something with that, but was stuck to building the drones. And I would like to thank all the players and their authors, of course, who, because although these bots are pretty good, they're not sentient enough to merit an ascription of consciousness to them. But I'd like to thank all the players and everyone who has supported this beautiful tournament. And especially I'd like to thank our sponsors on Patreon, which are Alexander Seidel, Bitcoinforks.io, Björn Lindberg, David Hansen, Gabriel Sineev, Matthew Pitziak, Michael Sester, Newbie Edge, and Rossen.ai. My last breath I will save to thank Killerbot and congratulate Cherry Pie on winning the grand finals of the 2017 Student StarCraft AI tournament. I thank you all for having watched this beautiful series of Zerg vs. Zerg, and hope to see you again next year. For now I say thank you very much, and I say goodbye.